Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, The Angel Fire Brief. If you are brand new here, feel free to like and subscribe in the links down below. If you care about what's going on in the world right now and want actual relevant content that isn't agendized and being weaponized, feel free, again, to subscribe. So, I need to touch base with you about something. I don't know how much you know about um, the Muslim women's rights movement. I don't know how much you know about Anonymous. I believe most of the machine, as it were, has probably led you to believe that Anonymous is some like cyber quote unquote terrorism organization. Let's be clear here about a few things. I don't think you know everything, if that is in fact your perspective. Um, I don't know how much you know about the government of Iran and what is going on right now in Tehran. I don't know how much you know about Anonymous, and I don't know how much you know about the relevant women's rights movements all over the planet right now, especially in Muslim nations. So, you know clearly that I am a Muslim. I've stated that on this channel here before. I do attend a masjid from time to time, and I do pray here within the construct of my own home. And I am very well connected in the local Muslim community and have Muslim family members. Have had a couple of Muslim family members, excuse me. I believe one of my aunts has converted to Christianity. So, we need to talk. This is relevant stuff that's happening. And I know you are probably thinking to yourself, why doesn't this girl wear a hijab? Why does she not cover and preach Islam? I'm brand new. I am a Western Muslim. It is not required here by Muslim standards. Most cultural communities do, however, identify with hijab. I am intentional, again, in the reasons why I don't. I live in a state where Muslims are highly targeted and violently so, in fact. So you see me from time to time, I will cover. I don't always cover. But it goes beyond that for me. It is, again, yet very intentional as I choose not to self target by wearing one because we have a lot of very dangerous white supremacy communities in the community of Minnesota where I live. So, all of that aside, again, also don't totally cover in solidarity with the women of Iran right now that are in fact dying at the hands of their government for not covering their hair. So, let's talk about that, shall we? Let's talk about relevant answers and, not just totally untrusting of my government officials, as I am close personal friends with several of them in the state of Minnesota. Um, but I don't choose to, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I don't choose to totally bow down subsequently to any government, let alone foreign government or my own. So let's be really clear about what this is and what this is not. I am not an official technical mouthpiece for Anonymous, but I have been, in fact, called out several times in my life now as an official, like, mouthpiece in the media for them and what they are doing in Iran right now for Muslim women's rights is more than any government on the planet is doing for Muslim women's rights. Let's be clear here. Hey, everybody. This is Bast the Third. I have a Bast the Second and a Bast the Third. And a cat named Manat as well. Anyway, so let's talk about these things, shall we? I don't care if you are a politician. I don't care if you are just somebody sitting at home right now, slacking and thinking about hitting the gym. I want you to know what is legitimately happening right now in Tehran. There is an active worldwide global hacking campaign against the Iranian government. Sorry, women come to that level of importance, whether you would like to admit it to yourself, actually, or not. I am a feminist and I am a Muslim. So I get tired, especially of the critique from the Muslim community from time to time about why do you support feminism? Do you realize that it is an agenda to delegitimize males? No, if that is what you think it is, then somebody delegitimized you in the feminism community somewhere along the way and you are butthurt about it. Sorry. What feminism is, however, is a respect for both genders, male and female. Real feminists at heart do not hate on men. We support good men. We also support good men in the Muslim community, particularly. And good women can typically spot good men, just like good men can more than typically spot good women. And thinking persons don't make this about agendizing politics generally. So, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you love me. I don't care if you think I'm butt ugly. I don't care if you don't think that I am pretty enough to be running my own YouTube channel. I am a defense and political journalist at heart, just trying to kind of break away from the norms of the things that I have been doing and the things that I've been working on and sort of do my own thing for a change. What I do think is that there are radical movements all over the planet that have been springing up out of Anonymous. I have tracked their progress in and out of just 10, 15 some odd years. I've had involvement with a lot of campaigns myself. I have, in fact, worked within the construct of their community in and out of 10 years. So what is happening right now is the entire global hacking community is taking down tyrannical government structures. And what is happening right now in Tehran is very disturbing. Again, let's recap what I just said. What is happening right now in Tehran is a massive human rights violation according to the United Nations, dictates on what constitutes human rights and what doesn't. And just like what happened with Afghanistan last year. And most of you in the journalism community that worked on the Afghan project with me know about my involvement and why I was heavily involved. Again, I am not a United Nations spokesperson. I am not a mouthpiece for any particular agenda, government, or dictate, as it were. But we have our eyes on you right now, Iran. And it is very disturbing that women activists are turning up missing in alarming rates. It is very disturbing that it has continued to be agendized, and weaponized in the media, especially the Western media, that it is all about oppression and it is all about what women wear. So let's backtrack about 20 years ago when other journalists that happened to be female individuals in the community started speaking on women in the Middle East and the progressive failure politically that this has turned out now again. Yet as look, I love Oprah. I support Oprah. I've actually even spoken with some of her writing staff, and I may have even taken a class myself within that community. But we need to talk about these things. I'm not coming against any other female journalists that I love and respect, like Oprah Winfrey. But this tired narrative yet again, of men in Muslim societies as being aggressive and dominant and domineering and enforcing their women to, cover, is what has progressed to gotten us here now, where we are standing today, this very day, in fact, on the precipice of 20 years of a weaponized media agenda. 20 years of pushing the wrong narratives, the culturally ignorant narratives at that, towards Muslim nations and women in women's life in Muslim nations. So now women are actually dying at the hands of men because 20 years of Western media has in fact portrayed exactly that. And it's alarming, to say the least. And now the hacker community all over the globe has been enforced to entreat and enact several different operations all over the globe, which is indeed what Anonymous does when government tyranny is just gone a little too far. I want to talk in brief with you about the woman Nafisa Amini, and her story is so alarming. It's just disturbing. She was arrested and brutally beaten to death by Iranians police units that were internal units, I believe, construct connected with the Savak. And what this actually looks like is no, Anonymous is not going to back down. No, Anonymous is going to literally take down the entire Iranian government. That's what you get when you brutalize women. That's what you get when you decide for yourself who is a civilian perpetrator and who is not at a government level. That's also subsequently what you get when you preach false doctrines of peace to other nations and false handshakes and deals made that were really not ever adhered to, and multiple military deals made on defense levels for nations. That's what you get. And I'm very connected in the Persian community here in the Twin Cities. I love and respect the Persian community that I have, and I am also part Persian myself. So this isn't, about racism. This isn't about agendizing or weaponizing media for me. What this is this is a call to action, and I want to shout out this adorable, famous boxer young man named Jake Paul. And I had, in fact, replied to him via Twitter and said, I got you, and I got you. Like, the Anonymous community has you in the palm of their hands. The media community here in the US that support Anonymous as affiliate operational tactics, we're not playing around here. I urge multiple connections and friends of mine from the United Nations and multiple connections and friends of mine in government and politics. And I have regular conversations with several of my local female congresspersons and different folks at a state level. It's pretty clear from all of the social media outlets that Anonymous is not going to back down. There is, in fact, going to be more than an online revolution here if something isn't done. Some of these people have had these things on their minds for decades. Some of the people within the hacker communities, within the media communities, like, this is coming to a boil rapidly, as it were. And there are several reasons why. Because there are intelligent women on the entire planet of every race, of every age. There are intelligent men on the planet of every race, every age range. There are people that are thirsty for knowledge out there in the world, and there, in fact, are people that are not comfortable with what Iran is doing with the war. So all of the Anonops that I have talked to have had different agendas with why they chose to involve themselves in this concurrent structure of hacking campaigns, in fact, that are going on around the world right now. People don't like what is being done to weaponize and agendize their daily lives. People are not comfortable being used by governments, much like I'm sure government isn't being used by the people. But when you signed up for any of my political friends and any of my political friends that are in the activism circles as well, when you use your position of authority to be an oppressor, you fail to miss the mark of your position. You are not some aggrandized ego public celebrity. If you are a statesperson, and I love many of you, and I'm friends with many of you, and I'm not just here to keep you like humble about your position, but keeping you accountable to the people. We have the people that run our societies, people that are in positions of power. You were put there specifically for the reason to serve the people. And really, that's actually all you are. And that could be a direct message to Donald Trump, who thinks he's a celebrity and this and that and the other thing. And you're a public servant. You're not here to like kill people. You are not here to demonstrate power of authority over women that don't choose to wear a hijab. If you think that is why you are in office and you are just loved by all of the people for all of your like worldly, brilliantly, like well put addendums and opinions, you're wrong. And most of you who think along those lines, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, several of these people really don't actually have a clue, I feel like, about what their position actually is. And in fact, this is why I'm so outspoken in my support about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Case in point, you have a woman that I'm friends with, that I've had in studio with me. You have somebody on your hands that actually does serve the people and takes her role very seriously. She does everything that she can for the state of Minnesota. She does everything that she can for the American people. And you have a lot of critics that actually are really just racists and kind of trashy people, but coming at her consistently, from death threats to, the woman has actually been forced to run. Disturbing that the media, as well as the propaganda machines, as it were, as well as white power conservatives and Nazis have that much power and authority in our states. And I'm not just saying Minnesota. I'm stating that as a critique at a U.S. level. And I considerably disturbed repetitively at the audacity that people, and I have been personally involved with the investigations that have taken place over the death threats of Miss Omar and several other Democratic women in Congress. I know who is behind it, and I'm telling you right now in this very video, in fact, who is behind it. Donald Trump has some power yet still, and he has some very relevant connections, and he has very dangerous connections. He's not some great American president. He's been the biggest threat to national and international security that has ever served office. So, also operates under a fairly mob boss mentality. Like, if you don't agree with this man, you don't absolutely love this man in some bizarre, weird, cult-like manner, you are automatically targeted. I do believe he may or may not have been who has in fact been targeting Elon Musk. In fact, and before you go, oh God, there she goes again, I have data. I have sources. I have people, again, not just in the government, but people within the FBI that I chat with. I have friends. I have family that are in the construct of the military and police community. So we need to discuss deeper what the Trump Organization has done and what a dangerous, real threat they have actually been. And I don't know how much of you know what is actually going on with the George Floyd summer, and that the end of that is still not the end of that. That was just not a bunch of media hubbub. I was involved in that, and as well as involved in not just covering it in the news and not just covering it at my station, but covered in internal investigative processes subsequently as well. I promise you 100% that the Trump Organization, as well as the Russian government, actually is in fact behind the influx of the white supremacy movement, and has filtered, in fact, money down through several secure channels on the internet. I personally looked at the data myself. So before you think that anybody within the construct of the surveillance community or within the construct of the actual government structure is really that comfortable with Donald Trump being re-added to office, I think you need to think again. He sold defense codes to Russia. He sold state secrets at a very high level. That is, in fact, what the entire investigation is about. I am the woman that informed several of our Democratic leaders a couple of years ago in studio at my station. And I'm privy to knowledge that the general public is not. So let's state what this is and what this isn't. This is not just some ramblings of some insane girl that can't stand Donald Trump. I mean, I can't stand Donald Trump, but he's tried to kill me. He's tried to kill a couple of my friends in the DNC at this point, and I'm pretty sure he has tried to kill Elon Musk as of recent. So you have somebody that is plausibly very dangerous. I feel like possibly criminally, mentally ill at a very high state level that serves a very disastrous purpose. I don't think our country's security community is going to be that comfortable letting him back in. Money was filtered to the white supremacy community the entire George Floyd summer here. There were several key targets here in the city of Minneapolis. I was one of them. Several of my friends in the DNC were also shot at personally. Several of the key Black Lives Matter organizers were targeted. Women were being kidnapped here off the streets of Minneapolis from the protests and being hustled into cars by big burly men for the purpose of killing them. This is not going to be the course the government takes from here on out. I highly suggest most of the world, like dignitaries and most of the world governments, take a very dignified approach, much like the government of the UAE have. You actually have a website set up in Dubai where if you have complaints against your government, you can actually officially lodge them. And you're not put on some target list. You are not put on some not credible list in the media. You are not put on some shut that shit down now. It's a lot to ingest, and I get that. And I have been, on air with a couple of my local stations and voiced these opinions at just that. Governments do not control our lives. I think you have stepped a little too far in your public servanthood if that is in fact what you think your purpose actually is if you are in a position of government. Or if you work in the construct of governance. And many of you, again, I love and support. I have people all over the global community, not just in my local community or even at a national level community. I talk to politicians from all over the world. And most are in agreement. So, I'm worried about Elon, and I want to touch base about that. But more importantly, I want to draw the attention, focus again at the end of this back to the women's rights movements and what the anonymous response has been all across the globe. Is this really the best we can do, people? I don't care if you are one of my political friends, again. I don't care if you are one of my Anon friends. I don't care if you are just some random that is bored sitting on your phone watching this. This is not our best, I hope. That people have to legitly be criminalized, like cyber hacktivism community being criminalized as plausible threats to any level of security. What this is you have people that have been aware of the tyranny that exists. You have a community of people that are, in fact, completely way more downloaded with the information most people think is secret, and most people think governments are trying to hide. The anonymous community's been aware at every level for at least the last 10 years. So let's be clear about what you think you're hiding and what you're actually not hiding. And that is a direct message to a lot of the world governments. I am not advocating for criminal cyber activity. I am advocating for women's rights. Let's be really clear about what this is, again, and what this isn't. You don't get to choose who lives and dies at the end of the day. If you believe in anything, any sort of religion, in fact, it doesn't matter what you believe to me. If you truly practice your faith, you are not out here weaponizing the media. You are not out here weaponizing central communities. You are not out here weaponizing, decentralized communities. If you're truly out there practicing your beliefs and your faiths, you're trying to just focus on keeping yourself peaceful and your country safe and your country's peaceful. You're not out here trying to kill women protesters that choose not to cover their hair in a political statement. And more importantly, you are not out here trying to harm anybody. If you are a man of any faith or woman practicing any level of faith, it's really that simple. People of faith don't act this way. People of faith connect with other people of faith, and they sharpen each other and help each other grow. I don't care if you're a politician and you say that you are this belief or that belief. If you're out here killing people, you're not a good Muslim. And that is, a direct message straight to the government of Iran. I'm grateful for your time today. Everybody have a blessed day. Feel free to join me whenever you want. Feel free to, again, if you're new to this channel, comment and link, your own channels here. People whose content I follow. You have new blood in the room. Have some respect. If you're stopping by my channel, at least like a video. At least comment below. I'm curious what people's thoughts are. Because we have approached a day and age right now where governments are just all over the world comfortable with an agenda against women. We have a situation on our hands right now where women in the Middle East are dying at a very vast rate. We have a situation on our hands where respected women in all sectors, whether you are talking about female police in Afghanistan that had been killed by the Taliban, or whether you are talking about Nafisa Amini, a protester that was thrown into a cop car, brutally beaten, and then murdered by the Iranian security apparatus, as it were, aka the Savak. You know what this means. You're not practicing your faith. You're not a Muslim. Islam is about peace. Islam is about growth. And Islam is about sharpening one's intellect. Like, there are principles that Muslims actually like work on and stand by in their daily lives. So let's be clear about what Islam is and what it isn't. It is not an agenda against women. It is not an agenda to weaponize women. It is not an agenda to weaponize men against women. And if anybody in journalism has like opposing opinions, I would like to hear them. I guess I feel like saying at this point, come at me, bro, because really, um, I, I'm not sure if my understanding of Islam is the same as everybody else's understanding of Islam, regarding, the poor portrayal in the media and beyond. People in the US literally have no opinion often about what Islam is and what it isn't because they just simply aren't aware enough. It is a common cultural, disgraceful, racist narrative here in the US, and especially where I live, where people are constantly like, oh yeah, Islam, no, I'll pass. Don't they beat their women? Yeah, no. That's not exactly what Islam is. That is not exactly what anybody who is relevantly practicing any kind of faith actually should be. I'm not sure what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would say, but I'm pretty sure there is no relevant evidence that any of the Prophet's companions beat their wives. I'm pretty sure there is no relevant supporting evidence that the Prophet Muhammad was directly misogynistic. I have some good brothers in the Muslim community that I really respect and that I really love all over the world, in fact. And I have learned a lot from them. And I'm just tired. I'm tired of the BS. I'm tired of the false narratives. I'm tired of the level of ignorance that the Western world is portraying regarding Islam. And I want to support Eddie at the Dean Show also and give you a shout out right now because what you're doing is huge and you know it. What you are doing by educating people about Islam and actively so in the US is huge. Because legitimately understanding what Islam is something that the US community is in deep need of. So that's what I've got for everybody today. I know it's a lot, but there's levels to this, and there's reasons why things are done the way they are being done right now. There is, in fact, racism in the mix. There is, in fact, political agendas in the mix, and there is, in fact, an entire, cyber army, as it were, that is ready to take action because people are just a little fed up. Thanks for stopping by my channel. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Enjoy yourselves. Get out there and enjoy the sunshine. Best says hi. She wanted to be in the video. In fact, she wanted to be the whole video. Bye-bye.